Hey guys, I'm here to announce that this is our 50th episode, and originally we were gonna do this week in wrestling and an all-in one, but it turned out both were gonna be too big. So this week is just gonna be just straight up what happens this week and whatever CJ and Joe talk about, and then I'm gonna put out a special edition one of just what happened at All In, a discussion between me and CJ, and enjoy the episode.
Hello, Audio Marks, coming to you from the Sage Public Library. Welcome to the Marks for Life podcast with your hosts, Jimmy, CJ, Joe, and Jared. Woo! The four horsemen of podcasting. Four casual trend marks wrestling fans who give you a direct line to all things in the squared circle. Enter the ring at your own risk. We pull no punches, we hit hard, and we will slam you all the info you need to know. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Let's hit it! And welcome to this week's edition of Marks for Life podcast. I am your leading host, CJ.
Oh, were you gonna say something else there?
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Hey, one of the champs is here.
Do you want to do your intro?
No, there's only one outlaw here. You know. Then I'm just Road Dogg talking stuff to himself, and that's what happened in TNA.
Pretty much, yeah. For all of you who don't know, that is the Big Fudge Joe.
That's right. One half of your reigning, defending Marks for Life podcast.
You can't
champions.
take my bit.
Well, I mean, you know, you ain't the champs. You just gotta.
That's my bit, though.
You gotta fall in line.
I took the Paul Heyman thing, you took the New Age Outlaws, and Jimmy gets jobber status.
Well, to be fair, Samir and Sunil Singh took the Paul Heyman thing.
Nope. All right. To be fair, Samir Singh is he the one that's out with injury or nah?
I think they say he's close. Yeah, he's the one. I think they say he's close to coming
Is he the
back.
one that's super ripped right now?
I don't know. I haven't seen him. I mean, you know,
Look him up. Look up injured Singh brother, super ripped. Like he looks shredded.
yeah,
it
let's
is
just put
scary.
that in my Google search. Will probably be the weirdest thing I've searched for.
Not
But-
really. Like it's all over social media how jacked this dude is right now. Like he looks like a jacked like Mustafa Ali, but more jacked.
So basically, we already got screwed at a jacked Dean Ambrose in 2K19, and now we're not gonna get the jacked Singh brother either.
No, we're not. Oh, we're not getting jacked. DB, DA, whatever the fuck.
Well, because he didn't come back in time, and you know Dean Ambrose hates social media, so no one knew he was that ripped until he came back.
Couldn't they have just fuck.
I mean, they could have brought him in to rescan, but I don't really think he was. I think it would have given. I feel like they didn't know in time if he was going to be back. Because what happens if the game comes out in October and we get ripped Dean Ambrose? Like Dean Ambrose looks nothing like this, and then it kind of just gives everything away. So maybe we'll get like a.
By the way, Audio Marks, we are going with no script and no guideline, no outline whatsoever. We came up with this 10 minutes before the podcast started. So we're just diving right into it. First off, look up the giant jacked Sunil Singh brother.
No, I think first off, what we have to talk about is.
No. Let's talk about the jacked Indian
We're not
boy.
talking about the
Let's
Singh
talk
brother.
about the shredded Indian dude. He looks
Jinder Mahal?
he looks like something that Jinder Mahal shit out. And it's still jacked from the amount of
Look,
roids that
if
Jinder
if
took.
you're below Jinder Mahal in the food chain, that's a bad sign.
Kurt Hawkins?
Hey, he almost didn't really beat Elias last week.
Bobby Roode?
Hey, he's got the new tag team with Chad Gable now.
Chad Gable?
I thought we were getting an American Alpha comeback, but I guess Jason Jordan's just not coming back.
What?
Unless Bobby turns heel on
Canadian Charlies?
Gable.
Well, it's not American Alpha then. Canadian Charlie.
Oh, God. I guess maybe Rude turns on Gable, and that's how Jordan
That's what the
comes
story's
back.
looking like right now, that Rude's going to turn on. Because they're also lacking a lot of heels, and I think we should start with maybe we'll just go into this. The fact that there's very little heels on the main Raw roster.
And they also don't know how to book the ones they have, evidenced by Kevin Owens quit and they came back a week later for no reason.
Let's start with that. What the fuck, WWE?
Well, yeah, I want to talk about Raw in general, but that was the real just glaring. First of all, stop trying to make Bobby Lashley do this stuff that he's not good at. Stop making him try and sing Rockin' Robin. Stop making him try and get friggin' Inner Tranquility with friggin' Jinder Mahal. Just let him kick people's ass, like I've been saying with Roman for years, and they're treating Bobby even worse.
Pretty much, Bobby's the, how do I put it? I feel like no Bobby has gotten over in WWE. The only one that did was Bobby the Brain Heenan.
I feel like anyone... Well, Bobby Lashley originally was over, though. From 2006 to 2008, he was pretty over.
Yeah, and look where that got him.
But he said a little to nothing and had a really good main event with John Cena at, was that SummerSlam?
I think so.
Great American Bash?
Bash, it was the Bash.
Yeah, I know it was one of those summer pay-per-views, but... So, yeah, you got, he was pretty over. He had the whole Mr. McMahon, Donald Trump thing at WrestleMania 23. Everything was fine. He went and got better in TNA. His mic skills actually worked. And then immediately when he comes back, you put him in a storyline with Sami Zayn. We bring out 4 men in drag.
3.
It was 3. Oh, whatever. One actually looked like Xavier Woods. So,
yeah, it's...
But yeah, the whole Kevin Owens thing boggles the hell out of my mind.
It pissed me off because you had potentially a great storyline right there, and you wasted it.
You could have done this like 2 weeks from now where Owens literally... I mean, maybe the only reason I'm giving the benefit of the doubt is because Owens didn't just attack Bobby Lashley. He also led that thing against the Shield in the main event. So I'm wondering if Owens is going to try and just get his own group of guys and just starts fucking shit up, and that's going to be the Shield's... maybe that's going to be one of their main foils.
What I could see them doing is I could see Kevin Owens leading something like the Undisputed Era into the main roster, which would be pretty good, because they're all ROH guys.
True.
And in PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, him and Adam Cole were part of that Mount Rushmore of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla along with the Young Bucks. So what we could potentially do, if the Young Bucks come in, you can have that kind of stable come back, and then have Red Dragon and Roderick Strong go off on their own. What I would like to see Kevin Owens do, which I'm pissed as to why they wouldn't, is to have Kevin Owens be the general manager of Raw instead of Baron Corbin.
Corbin apparently has backing of someone backstage because no matter how many storylines he just bungles up, he just keeps getting more chances.
But he's still a shit heel.
Of course he is, but he's not a good babyface either.
No, he's not.
He's got such a punchable, hateable face, so you don't want to root for him, but he's got such an annoying promo style that you don't want to root against him either.
Yes. But I do like his
bad.
I like his heel tactics though, of like changing the rules midway. It's like, by the way, it's no DQ. I'm like, wow, you're a dick.
You know who else is that? The anonymous Raw general manager.
But he didn't wrestle.
He did. It was Hornswoggle.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
But yeah, Corbin, he's not the I boo you because you're your great heel. He has the I boo you because I hate you and I want you off my television screen type of heat.
Pretty much.
Is that X-Pac heat? I think that's what that's called in the biz.
Yeah, and let's go over some other heels we got in the business right now. Currently, we have...
well, the 2 best heels are both on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Miz and Samoa Joe.
Well, let's stick with Raw right now. Going back to it, Bobby Roode looks like he's about to turn heel with this partnership with Chad Gable. It's going to be short-lived, I feel like. And then we're going to get American Alpha reform while Bobby Roode goes back into what he needs to be, which is a heel. A gloating elite heel to maximize his potential. Because I've been reading everywhere like, maybe we've overestimated Bobby Roode, maybe this, that. Granted, I'm not a huge fan of Bobby Roode. Personally, I do think he's overrated. But I feel like he can reach more of a potential if he was a bad guy.
There was one babyface thing with him that worked, and it was beer money. So
Yes.
if you're not going to get James Storm, then turn him heel.
Yes, I agree. But you're not going to do beer money on a PG show.
But the top 3 heels on Raw right now are all in one storyline. Owens, Ziggler, and Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre.
Which is the next thing I want to discuss. Strowman's heel turn. Your thoughts?
It's hard to call it a turn because I feel like they never called him a babyface to begin with. It was just the people he was going after. So now, and it's so botched with this whole heel turn because, everyone and their mother's going to be like, isn't he kind of justified? He won the Money in the Bank briefcase. He had Roman dead to rights and the Shield came out. So everyone's like, isn't the Shield kind of... Well, now they're not because they got laid out with the entire Raw roster on Monday night. But
Yeah.
I wanted heel Shield out of this. I didn't want heel Strowman.
I would have enjoyed a heel Shield because I feel like that would have been really good. And usually stables like that where they're trying to protect the champion usually end up being heel.
Yeah.
So just having a bunch of buddies like grouped together and stuff, I don't know. I don't like how that went. I think Strowman...
And I think if you're going to do it with someone else, like if you're going to do that with someone, don't do it with Strowman.
Yeah.
Do it with Kevin Owens. Have him have the briefcase and, have the Shield kind of have to hold him off because he's doing all these, dirty, naughty things to try and get the title.
again, that's why they backed themselves into a corner by having Roman win the Universal Championship. Strowman keeping his Money in the Bank briefcase instead of having Owens beat him. Literally, you could have had him beat the shit out of him, do everything he was doing anyways, and have him lose by countout.
I feel like they booked themselves into the corner from the beginning.
Yes.
With Strowman winning the briefcase.
Agreed.
Because there's no way he can lose the briefcase unless 3 or 4 guys come down and help the champion win.
Yeah, or, he cashes in ahead of time like John Cena, and then he loses that.
Which, if he loses at Hell in a Cell, then you'd think that would make sense.
Yes.
But this storyline clearly isn't over. But if Strowman cashes in and loses, but gets a rematch anyway, then what was the whole point of the briefcase?
There is no point. That's what I'm saying. Braun Strowman never needed the briefcase.
If you're gonna have him he should have at least cashed in on Brock, if that was the plan.
Agreed. But now we're into this weird, convoluted storyline between two huge stable groups. You have the Shield, which you have the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, you have the Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins, and you have the returning jacked more than Roman Reigns in my opinion, Dean Ambrose.
And I can easily see Ambrose and Rollins taking those tag titles off of
which
McIntyre
is my next
and
point.
Ziggler.
Braun Strowman and the new Raw Tag Team Champions, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, which, now that I look back on it, kind of fine with that after SummerSlam. Someone had to take the belts off the B team.
I was hoping it was the Revival, but...
So was I.
But here's the problem now. All of your male championships are tied up into one storyline.
Agreed.
Because you're not going to have Rollins defend the Intercontinental title unless it gets McIntyre or Ziggler.
That's where this...
And they're going to be defending the Raw Tag Team titles. And then Roman and Strowman are doing the Universal Championships. The only championship not involved in that feud is the Raw Women's title.
This is where the Super Showdown comes in. I feel like it's going to be a 6-man tag, all the champions on the line.
I could see that happening.
That's I feel like is going to have to be that way. Because with that, it's... I feel like that's the only way to do it. You have to make... Because these groups, I feel like, are going to feud into the fall.
Well, because the problem is, you don't really want to have McIntyre and Ziggler drop the belts because they're a hot act and they just won the titles. But you're also not going to have Roman drop the belt. So one of those groups is going to have to come out on top.
I feel like the Shield would be the best case scenario. Because I still feel the Drew McIntyre Dolph Ziggler thing will not last into the next year. Personally, I feel like a breakup's going to happen, and Braun is better off on his own instead of in a stable.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I could easily see it happening where Braun gets beat somehow for them to lose the tag team titles, and they go after Braun and blame him for them losing the titles. There
is one thing I am pissed about, now that I really think about it. So, look who made their return this past week.
The Undertaker.
No. That's actually something we should talk about, too.
Oh, no, we're going to talk about that because, this is still...
That's a whole other thing.
Because that's Raw and Super Showdown still.
Yeah. Authors of Pain.
Yeah, with Drake Maverick as the new manager.
You know what pisses me off about all this?
That Drake Maverick should not be in Kevlar?
No, he actually looks pretty good in Kevlar.
I didn't think so.
Authors of Pain
dressing up for Halloween
really should have backed up Strowman.
Yeah, I could see that.
That would have been a much better case scenario.
It would have, but they still haven't put a real end to the whole Rollins, Ambrose, Ziggler, McIntyre thing. They
should have done that at SummerSlam.
They should have, and it looked like it was the end of it, but then, they brought... It's like when the Shield reunited last time, and it was Miz feuding with Roman, and then Rollins and Ambrose going after the bar, and they just threw them all together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because they didn't have any way to end the tag team feud.
Yeah. I don't know. This whole thing is really convoluted.
I feel like WWE is really going with a lot of these blurring the lines type storylines between faces and heels.
Yes, I agree. And
which could be great if you do it correctly.
On SmackDown.
It just feels like they're trying to piss in 2 buckets at the same time and the streams are crossing with each other.
I feel like Raw has that problem. SmackDown doesn't.
Raw has so much star power with nothing to do. So their way to do all this is just create all these multi-man feuds out of nothing. Have, a bunch of triple threat matches and have a bunch of these 6-man feuds to where, everyone gets airtime and no one's really doing anything.
Yeah. I agree 100% because Look at their roster. They have the Shield. They have Braun Strowman. They have consistently Triple H and Undertaker make appearances on Raw, not SmackDown. You have people like Brock Lesnar, who was exclusive to Raw for the longest time. You have Ronda Rousey on Raw.
I have a feeling the brand split will die when the Fox deal kicks in.
Yeah.
Because they're going to want all the big stars on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So the brand split's going to go by the wayside. I don't know what you're going to do with, I get the whole Raw and SmackDown's house is going to get really weird.
They're probably going to unify it by some Survivor Series.
Well, they're definitely going to unify. Well, now the rumor I'm hearing is that they want to add more women's titles.
Look.
As in a women's tag team title and a women's mid-card title.
Okay, I'm fine with that if they unify the big belts.
Wait, the roster's too thin, though, for that many championships. Look what they had to do. The Women's Royal Rumble was half returns in NXT. So between Raw and SmackDown, there's not nearly enough women to do that.
That's why I'm saying, personally, if this all women's, I guess we're gonna go into the Evolution pay-per-view. If Evolution does well, they could potentially get their own show, sign more people, build more people up, and you can easily make the NXT Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, something of a mid-card title. Easily.
You could, but the only issue with the whole all-women's brand thing is I feel like at that point you're making them too much of a sideshow attraction. They're not being. I feel like they're doing so many of these first women's blank, first women's Hell in a Cell, first women's Royal Rumble, first women's pay-per-view. It's great for that's the first time everyone they can pat themselves on the back for that. But when you look at it, the women have been treated about like their own sideshow. They're not treated. Don't brand this as it's the first ever women's match. Just make them part of the product, like they used to be. When Trish and Lita were running the division back in the day.
Yeah, but I think they're still trying to get to that respect of Trish and Lita. Because granted, a lot of athletes are on par with Trish and Lita, but they don't have that same kind of mainstream respect as Trish and Lita.
But they also don't have the same on-camera ability as Trish and Lita did.
What do you mean by on-camera ability?
As in promo ability.
True, but neither did Trish for the longest time.
True. I mean, I feel like until she turned heel, really, I guess, was the...
Yeah. But if you want to look at it, let's look at the titles they can unify. Get rid of the Universal Championship, first off.
Well, yeah, the WWE Championship should be the flag bearer of the company.
So you have the WWE Championship. I say get rid of the United States Championship, keep the Intercontinental Championship.
I'll probably do that.
I say keep the Cruiserweight Championship so this way it gets built up.
Well, that's why if you're getting rid of one of the mid-card titles, you have to keep the Cruiserweights.
That's what I'm thinking. I feel like that'd be better because the United States Championship is good, but it leads to a lot of foreign heel storylines that I'm just tired of.
Well, because it goes back and forth. Because if you have one mid-card title, you could have a group of a couple guys controlling the division the whole time. But the problem with two mid-card titles is you have champions that don't really deserve it.
Yes.
Jinder Mahal.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
He deserved to win at WrestleMania.
I agree.
And then he deserved to win. It was like Roman Brock. But at least when AJ won, you're like, all right, I'm not pissed about it, but I really wanted Shinsuke to win.
You just wanted it to be over. You were just like Old Yeller, but you just wanted to skip to the end because you knew what was going to happen. I say keep the Cruiserweight Championship, keep the Intercontinental and the WWE Championship, unify the Tag Team Championships,
and unify the Women's Championships.
Unify the Women's Championships, and then add a Tag Team Championship. Because let's see, you're already getting rid of 2 belts. No, 3 belts technically. So technically, you could add at least 2 without it being overstuffed. So you can add the Women's Tag Team Championship and even a mid-card title.
Yeah. But in that case, then why not just keep both mid-card belts?
No, I mean a mid-card title for the women.
Oh, for the women. Yeah, but I still don't think the roster is deep enough to do that.
At the very least, a Tag Team Championship. So, because I do agree, they need another belt to fight for. And then you have all these teams popping up. You have Absolution. You have the Iconics. You have the Riot Squad. You have the Boston Hug Collection. You have whatever the fuck Naomi and Asuka are.
Asuka? Naiska? Asomi? No, that's not going to work.
I really enjoyed Naomi and Lana, the Ravishing Glow.
I think we should bring Cameron back and reform the Funkadactyls.
Ah!
So, but let's, before because we'll talk about the 2K stuff too, but this whole Undertaker Triple H situation and what it's become, I feel like you honestly devalued Undertaker versus Triple H because now after Monday, everyone's talking about Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels again.
Yes, and that's the rumor that's going on right now.
As it possibly Undertaker versus Michaels for Mania next year.
Which definitely
which is in
means
Jersey.
That we're fucking going, my guy.
I mean, we're going anyway. Undertaker could have had a match with Kurt Hawkins for all I cared.
I kind of would care about that. I wouldn't want to waste. Well, nah. Well, we've seen Taker, so it's not that. But oh man, Taker versus Michaels. But they're both 53.
But
They're old as shit.
here's the issue now that we're seeing. WWE still does not have enough confidence in their full current roster to hold an international show. You needed to rely on Undertaker, Triple H, and John Cena to get the Greatest Royal Rumble over.
Yes.
Now you're relying on Undertaker versus Triple H and the presence of Shawn Michaels
And John Cena.
To get the Super Showdown over.
Yes.
So now you're seeing it. After you get out of those top guys on Raw and SmackDown, it gets thin really quick.
Well, here's what you're not taking into consider though. They don't have that mainstream appeal as they did during the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Yeah, but eventually Shawn Michaels is not going to be able to do Sweet Chin Music anymore without pulling out a hip.
No, I know.
Undertaker's not going to be able to hold guys up for a tombstone anymore.
This Fox deal is so much bigger than anyone could ever imagine. This Fox deal will help create those stars like Austin, like Rock, like John Cena, like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Undertaker. This Fox deal, this kind of mainstream attention will help give those stars a platform.
This is the thing. Now I think you got to realize now that with all these international shows, I think this is the first time where you can say Vince McMahon is feeling some sort of outside pressure from a competitor, besides maybe 2007 TNA when they were at their height.
So let's go into this then. All In. We watched the show, Jimmy and I. We're going to do a much bigger in-depth thing this coming on the recording. This recording is happening on Wednesday. We are doing a recording on Friday. We'll be releasing both episodes, I'm assuming, simultaneously on that Saturday. All In was fucking amazing.
I know. I read ratings online, but I didn't actually watch it.
We have it on Fight TV. If you log in and stuff with the email and everything, we still have the pay-per-view purchase. Watch it. Holy crap. This pay-per-view was amazing. With Cody Rhodes. Thank you, Cody Rhodes. Thank you, Young Bucks. Specifically them. Because, not gonna lie, I have never been more invested in a championship match like Cody Rhodes versus Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. It was classic match, classic ring psychology with the new style, the new intensity and stuff. It was amazing. This entire pay-per-view from start to finish was fantastic. They sold out a 10,000-seat arena.
Yeah, in minutes.
In 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes. 29 minutes and 36 seconds, if I remember correctly. With this fact in mind, WWE in the next couple years will have real-ass competition.
Unless Vince does what he did the first time and buys out his competition. And brings in Kenny Omega and brings in the Young Bucks for whatever money they're asking for, because that rumor's going to keep going until these guys retire.
They're not asking for money. They're asking for control. Creative control. And that's what Vince doesn't want to give up.
Because now, and even with Triple H now in the picture, they're still not going to agree on everything.
Exactly. This thing was All In. Because I remember Jimmy and I, we talked about this before. I don't think the indies are important as much. Hear me out. I feel like Ring of Honor and New Japan are good, but Bullet Club is the independents.
Yeah.
No one cared about the independents as much until Bullet Club really formed back in 2013. That's when everything started to pick up steam. That's when New Japan started getting big, along with Tanahashi, and I will give him his due, as well as Okada. But they started gaining steam with New Japan, with having Bullet Club, and then having Bullet Club invade other promotions. Ring of Honor's been using Bullet Club. PWG has been using Bullet Club. Hell, everyone's riding the Bullet Club train.
WWE even did it when they first brought in Gallows and Anderson.
My point exactly. Bullet Club is the biggest thing going in wrestling right now. And that's not even an understatement, because it is spanning across multiple continents, multiple huge companies. They are the ones that are gaining mainstream right now with Hot Topic deals, with Funko Pop deals, with all of this stuff. Their YouTube channel, Being the Elite. They have their first all-in event, 10,000 plus sold. They're going to be at the Ring of Honor MSG card, which they should really label Bullet Club at MSG, because people are going to want to see Bullet Club. WWE has to face the Bullet Club now. which is, in my opinion, bigger than the NWO right now because Bullet Club's revitalizing the wrestling circuit outside of mainstream competition. So, I don't know why WWE is going into international markets, maybe just to test it out. But I think they need to focus also on their home front.
They need to focus on their own programming.
Yes.
Because basically, even with 3 hours of Raw every Monday night, at least an hour of that is devoted to the top storyline, in which right now is the Shield versus Stromagzig. Stromigler.
Shield versus...
Yeah. So it's... And a lot of people have been complaining about the way WWE has been doing things for years. Mm-hmm. And now they've brought in Ronda Rousey. Eventually, they're probably going to bring in Conor McGregor.
I could see that easily.
And once Brock gets back from getting his ass kicked by DC in the UFC, he'll come back.
Does that mean a UFC stable led by Paul Heyman? Fuck, please don't, WWE, no!
And well, yeah, you already have 2 friggin' MMA girls down in NXT. 3 of them, actually.
3. You had the 4 horsewomen of UFC.
Which now I think, talking about All In, not All In, Evolution, they missed a huge opportunity. I understand the Charlotte versus Becky storyline is going to be great. They missed a huge opportunity with the 4 Horsewomen match.
I think they're doing Survivor Series. I think that's the plan right now.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to get Charlotte and Becky on the same page.
No, you're not. But you were able. That was the same storyline with AJ and Dean, Kevin and Roman, and Kevin and Seth, and then you also have freaking Alexa and Becky. You know, there was a whole bunch of stuff with that.
Yeah, but you have Survivor Series from now is a little under 3. It's about 2.5 months.
Yeah,
and so you're gonna have at least 2 matches between Charlotte and Becky.
Yes. Assuming
if Becky wins the first one, then takes the title or whatever, they're gonna have at least 2 matches. So that's 2 pay-per-views. One of them's probably gonna be at Evolution.
Well, let's see. Hell in a Cell was announced already.
Right.
As well as Super Showdown.
Yeah.
So that's already 2. That's definite. And if a title change happens, which it probably will, then we will get the 3rd at Evolution. Survivor Series, I'm not expecting any title defenses. I'm expecting brand warfare as they've been doing.
But I just think that you're going to have a tough time getting Charlotte, because you're basically going to have Charlotte and Becky trying to kill each other until the end of October.
Pretty much.
Which would leave you about 3 weeks until Survivor Series trying to build the 4 Horsewomen back into a credible threat.
Yeah. Well, they're all credible threats, just cohesively.
Not together, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll hold it off until Mania, around Mania time, so they know that Ronda can handle the main spotlight.
I think Ronda's fine. I think that they're still...
I think Ronda's fine. I think Baszler's getting there, and the other 2,
I need to watch them.
You need to get into, you need to make them into
a
WWE star.
I think they're building Ronda Charlotte. That's the end game here.
So I could see the 4 Horsemen thing being used as a ploy to build to that.
Exactly. So. Evolution, though, is looking like a great pay-per-view, folks. I still want to go see it. I'm going to spend $45 because I really can't afford it right now, but I want to go see it. Currently announced for the card is Alexa versus
Trish.
Yeah, Alexa versus Trish. Ronda's going to defend. Kairi Sane is defending her NXT Championship. You have the finals of the Mae Young Classic. And also, Mickie James versus Lita has been announced.
It's very intriguing. I think I worry about Lita more than I worry about Trish, though.
Yeah.
It looked like Lita, when she was in the Women's Royal Rumble, was a step slower than she used to be. And she almost botched her moonsault attempt badly.
Well, the thing is, Mickie can cover her.
Can she, though? Mickie hasn't been, in that type of big-time match really since she came back the first time and she faced Asuka in NXT TakeOver.
I think Mickie can handle it. I feel like everyone's underestimating her.
It's just they've both gotten older. And, I do want to see the match happen and go well, basically, because this is what happened when Lita was about to retire, and they dragged her name through the mud completely.
Yeah.
So to see them do this match right would be so much better. It would also be interesting to see the role swapped, because Lita was the heel when she faced Mickie, and now Mickey's the heel. A very overlooked heel on Raw, but still a heel.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this card plays out.
Yeah, Raw is really just kind of a clusterfuck right now.
Yeah, and then you look to other aspects of the WWE or in wrestling in general, and you see other places thriving. All In is thriving right now. The Evolution pay-per-view's okay. I'm looking more towards the SmackDown side of things right now because Raw is very up in the air.
Yeah.
Even with them getting two legends facing off against the Raw stars, we're hesitant to watch it. Which is bad. You get two Hall of Famers in, on the first ever all women's pay-per-view, and you're hesitant.
It's the same thing though with Super Showdown with Undertaker and Triple H.
Exactly. Even we're hesitant to watch that. And that's with two mainstream stars like that. SmackDown, on the other hand, never really had that problem.
Well, because they've always been, even ever since the draft created this brand split, it's been about building the young talent at SmackDown.
Yes, and let's go into that. Andrade Cien Almas. Back-to-back great showings against Daniel Bryan, along with Zelina Vega, building her credibility up for the past couple of months. You have them building up. Is it just me or is Daniel Bryan not as over as
I think he's still over in the right storyline. I think the whole mixed tag match coming in is kind of everyone's gonna iffy, especially because Brie did not look very good on Raw in that tag team match with the Riot Squad. She did not look good at all.
No, she did not.
Obviously, Daniel can kind of help get her a little bit more up to snuff, and Maurice isn't exactly the Fabulous Moolah in the ring, so. Maybe you can get her at least up to that level of Maurice by the time you get to Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
But I feel like once the him leaving retirement happened, the big match at Mania, he got his big moment. We got the match we wanted with Bryan and Miz at SummerSlam, and we got the Team Hell No reunion.
What else?
Because I feel like they shot their load not knowing if Bryan was going to come back.
Yes.
They wanted to hit all these marks before he came back. Now he's going to re-sign with the company, it seems like. And now we're all like, okay, now what?
Yeah, what does he do now? Like, this whole Miz thing.
Because he'll get his big blow-off win against Miz probably at maybe they'll announce something for Super Showdown. Well, they won't have a match at Survivor Series.
They are having one at Super Showdown, number one contendership on the line for the WWE
So
Championship.
I could see, assuming Joe takes the belt off Styles, I could see Bryan win that match as the blow-off to their feud.
I really think that, as much as I want Joe to win, I want Miz to have the belt and then Daniel Bryan win the Rumble.
Yeah, apparently The Rock is a big favorite to win the Rumble right now.
Right now, I'm hearing Rock versus Roman.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Which,
I wouldn't give Rock the Rumble win to build towards that.
He wouldn't need it.
I think you could build to that perfectly fine.
Not gonna lie, I would like to see them at a barbecue and chill out close. Like a family barbecue. It's like, hey, I want the belt. Sure! And then Rock's playing that clip. Like, there you have it, guys. Universal Champion's like, whoa, 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 whoa. That was a joke. It doesn't matter what your joke is!
So SmackDown's doing the right things for us, building the right stars up, and they're not relying as much on the old guard. Miz is really the only guy he's reestablished himself. Yeah. You still have AJ and Joe are still, two cornerstones. And then you have, and in the two main guys, the two veterans are Hardy and Orton. They're off doing their own thing.
Yo, I don't like that Hell in a Cell match, though. I don't like how they're Hell in a Cell.
There's going to be a big spot.
And
for the love of God, if there's a big spot, please let Jeff Hardy take some time off until the Rumble at least. He should have been taking his time off after SummerSlam.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like how they're in a Hell in a Cell feud and not Samoa Joe and AJ Styles.
That one doesn't make sense. Maybe I would say maybe you don't want the first match of the feud to be Hell in a Cell, but that's also the same problem with Orton and Hardy. They haven't had a real match yet. Their first match is going to be in the Cell.
Exactly.
The Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, I still think is, just like TLC, is a stupid pay-per-view slot.
I agree.
You should save those matches for few blow-offs. If you want to keep Elimination Chamber in there as a WrestleMania decision maker as for who's going to get one of the title shots, you can leave it there.
I still think King of the Ring should be in there.
King of the Ring should be in there. I think you could see a WCW pay-per-view get put in there instead. Maybe Starrcade.
Yeah.
I think there's something that I think a huge marker as I'm staring at I know one of the topics I want to talk about. I think a huge marker in WWE's mainstream success is how well WWE 2K19 does. How well it's received.
Let's go into that.
Because we have not had a non-WWE wrestling game come out. Really, TNA Impact had a one-off game.
I remember that one, yeah.
AAA had a one-off game, and none of those were very great.
New Japan, I think, had a couple of games here and there.
Maybe.
But then Japan. Let's go into it, because I know this is a big topic for you. Do you want to discuss the roster for us?
Yeah, we'll do the roster, but I think this game is huge, because I would not be shocked if Bullet Club / New Japan / Ring of Honor starts to build and have this cohesive relationship and build something big. You could see them securing a video game rights deal.
Well, let's see. The biggest thing that I could see them securing is EA.
EA's the only big name, but EA's gonna fuck it up.
EA would probably fuck it up, and THQ is went under.
THQ's dead. Yeah.
Is there any-
Some of their studios are still THQ Nordic is an old studio. THQ, they're kind of rebuilding some old THQ games, but they're not really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really EA, or unless you could get the EA and 2K really, unless you could get the studio. I mean, it would be a PS4 exclusive if you did this, but the studio that does MLB The Show for PlayStation, if you could get them to do this game, to do that type of game.
Well, they've used unorthodox methods to their benefit before. You know, they've utilized Fight TV, they've utilized YouTube, they've utilized Netflix in specific to Lucha Underground. You know, they've used unorthodox methods before to get over. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they used this that kind of TV deal, that kind of video game deal.
I could see them having someone that really takes notes on everything fans have been complaining about with the WWE series, taking it all down, and then, you know, getting a core gameplay mechanic together and going to a developer and saying, "Can you do this for us?"
Like, imagine that. Like, they have all the different companies in there, and then, you know, you create a character, and then you're going up in Ring of Honor, like, "Hey, we're sending you to Japan."
Yeah.
And, like, you get to choose contract deals. Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
I could see any company that's not WWE jumping in head first on a deal like that. New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling,
Lucha Underground.
any one of them.
I think the big three indies is Lucha Underground, ROH, and New Japan right now.
Which Lucha Underground's the only problem is they still can't keep getting consistent funding for filming.
No, they cannot. But let's go into WWE specific video game. I know you had a lot to talk about this. Let's go into it.
Yeah, let's take a look. So the first part of the roster reveal came out. I think it was earlier this week.
Okay.
And I think there's 70 plus superstars already confirmed. Of course, they're gonna say every year it's the biggest roster in WWE games history. This part of the roster reveal, the roster reveal itself was more Raw and NXT oriented, but we also have superstars that have already been confirmed because of either being the cover star or being part of the pre-order bonus.
Yes.
So we have AJ Styles,
Yes.
who of course is the cover star. Ronda Rousey, pre-order bonus.
And Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio pre-order bonus. And then you have the superstars that are included as part of the Ric Flair Collector's Edition. So you have Ric Flair, you have Charlotte, who's obviously going to be in it anyway. You have Dusty Rhodes. You have Macho Man Randy Savage, which of course, again, because of the Legends deal he signed, is going to stay in there anyway. You have Ricky Steamboat and Roddy Piper and The Undertaker with his...
American Badass.
Yeah, American Badass Undertaker's in there as well.
Now, is he taking up a character slot, or is he just a character costume?
I think he's probably taking up a slot because
Fuck!
because his part of his American Badass replacement is the fact that he feuded with Flair at WrestleMania 18. So I think he's, based on that requirement of him being in the collector's edition, is probably going to be his own
Yeah,
slot.
but he can also do that as a character, something like WWE 2010, where they had Shawn Michaels and Triple H have their DX attire, but when they swapped to the DX attire, they had a completely different entrance, music, clothing.
That's what you'd think, but...
Yeah.
And then part of course, Daniel Bryan's 2K Showcase mode, you have Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, John Cena, Kane,
Yes.
and
Miz?
Kofi Kingston as well because of that tag team title match.
Oh, yes. And R-Truth would be in there then.
R-Truth's will be in there as well.
Yes, my boy!
And then the NXT portion of it, we have Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne confirmed as part of the NXT UK division. We have Angelo Dawkins. Then you have, this is not even Raw and NXT separate. This is just the people confirmed so far. So we have Angelo Dawkins, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Kairi Sane.
Montez Ford, right?
Yeah, the Street Profits are in. You have Liv Morgan.
Riot Squad in general?
The Riot Squad in general is in. Morgan, Logan, and
Riot.
Ruby.
I heard Heavy Machinery's in there?
Heavy Machinery is in there. There's Montez Ford. The Velveteen Dream is in.
Thank God.
All 4 members of the Undisputed Era have been confirmed. So Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Fish, and O'Reilly. So you have Akam and Razor, the Authors of Pain. You have Aleister Black, Alexa Bliss, Alicia Fox, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, yay.
Yay.
Bailey, Bianca Belair is in the game.
That's a surprise. You
That
know,
was a surprise spot for me, too.
well, same with Street Profits and Heavy Machinery, but,
Yeah.
you know, I guess you need tag teams.
Yeah, The Big Show. Of course, you have the B Team.
Fucking hell.
You have Bobby Roode, Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar, Chad Gable, Kurt Hawkins, Dana Brooke, The Revival, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, who of course was DLC last year, so he's in. You have Elias, Sasha Banks, Ember Moon, Fandango, Goldust, Heath Slater, Jason Jordan. So happy for that. Johnny Gargano, Cassius Ohno, Kevin Owens, The Ascension, Lana as a playable character for the first time. Lars Sullivan.
Okay.
You have Matt Hardy, Mickey James, Mojo Rawley, Natalya, Nia Jax. You have TM61 is in there again.
Really?
They were in last year as well. Noe Jose.
Okay.
You have Oni Lorcan.
These are some weird-ass names, though, but they're really building up NXT as a third brand with this,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
So there's Otis Dazovic, one half of Heavy Machinery. Titus O'Neil, Rhino, Roman Reigns, Rusev, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Shayna Baszler, Triple H, Tucker Knight of Heavy Machinery, Tyler Breeze, and then you have Zack Ryder, and of course, Kyle O'Reilly finishing it. So that's the reveal we got. That's everyone we know so far, the full playable roster.
That's a lot, though. And I remember I've complained about this before. They're putting a lot of emphasis on the current stars.
Yeah, but I think they're going to start finding times where they might have to start pushing back their roster window. Because now we know Ricochet was not announced, even though he is the current North American champion. And that title is in the game. The North American Championship was confirmed.
Yeah.
So that means Adam Cole is probably going to be the default champion.
Yes.
Bobby Lashley was not confirmed for the game, considering he made his debut after the cutoff. I think that Ricochet and Bobby Lashley are probably the big two.
And EC3.
EC3, that's probably going to be part of an NXT DLC pack.
Yeah.
And then the rest of that NXT pack, I have no idea. Apparently, there's a possibility they could bring in more NXT UK stars.
Well, the only other big ones that you would have would be Trent Seven and Danny Burch.
Well, you definitely would need Trent Seven for Mustache Mountain.
Yeah. And then you can even bring back British Strong Style, which is the stable in the UK led by Pete Dunne, which
Yeah.
it also includes Tyler Bate and Trent Seven.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm liking, though, is the fact that they are really emphasizing the current roster. I think they should cut it back, though, because that's way too many characters. It's kind of just taking up data at this point.
Well, and now, of course, I think we're at like 88 playable superstars right now, and we still have the entire SmackDown Live roster, a lot of the Cruiserweight roster, I'm sure, and the Legends.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at almost 200. Which last year I think it was about 170 last year.
Really?
So yeah, it's going to keep going up, and I really want to see them do something different with the Legends, because a lot of the Legends really have been rinse and repeat. Like Tatsumi Fujinami has been in the freaking game for like the last 3 years, even though he was part of one 2K showcase pack with Ric Flair, and now they've kind of just been throwing him in as a slot every time now.
Jesus Christ. What legend would I want to be in the game?
Well, the two big Legends I can think of are both in blackballed by WWE, so Chris Benoit and CM Punk, so that's out.
I was thinking the Mountie.
The Mountie?
That's an ongoing joke at my job. They're like, is the Mountie still wrestling? And I'm like, no. Then I don't want to watch it.
Hulk Hogan, I don't know if he's going to... Yeah, I think the
DLC, I think.
I think the whole peace bridging thing came a little too late for him to be in this year's game. Either DLC or maybe next year's game he might get back in.
It won't be that hard to really put him in. Let's be real here.
Well, he was already scanned in, I think, for 2K16, and then,
Yeah.
he said some stuff. So you probably just got to touch up that model a little bit and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, there's also another one that WWE hasn't blackballed. Owen Hart.
Fuck you, Martha.
Yep, we're back. We're getting CJ back on that tangent. But I mean, like I said, this game is going to be like basically what has happened since 2K took over from THQ. 2K14 was all THQ's game, and THQ folded right before the release, so 2K kind of just took it over and touched some stuff up.
Yeah.
It was all THQ. 2K15, they stripped it down to the bones, and it was just awful. But, it was like, all right, they're kind of just trying to rebuild the thing from scratch. 2K16 got better, and 2K17, now you're on like almost 4 years from them getting that licensing from THQ. So now you can't really make any more excuses for them. And if this game doesn't go over well, because the NBA 2K games have been steadily increasing in quality.
Well, I think I think 2K is going to get better with it, though. That's what
They need to fix the commentary. The commentary in that game's been broken ever since they put it in, I feel like.
Yeah, the commentary's awful. That was the one thing I remember, is because they were all the same shit.
It's all the same lines. You know, they kept having Michael Cole, JBL, and Jerry Lawler in there for years. Now it's Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton.
I wish you could choose the announce team.
I wish they need to. I don't think they ever put any different ring announcer in besides JoJo. I think she's the only one still. So even if you go into the NXT arena, it's still JoJo as the ring announcer.
Yeah.
Who's the Rich Brennan? Is that his name?
I guess.
I forget who.
I
Yeah.
thought Rich Brennan left.
No, he's the. Well, he's not. I know he does SmackDown's ring
Greg
announcer
Hamilton,
now.
right?
Greg Hamilton, that's his name.
Yeah, Rich Brennan left a while ago.
Sorry, maybe it is Greg Hamilton.
Yeah, he was like 2014.
I was close. But yeah, so it's basically, you know, they're kind of all the old match types are rumored to be coming back. So gauntlet matches, Inferno
Really?
matches,
They are?
because people have been finding old audio lines from last year's game that would have said this is this match, but they didn't put the matches in. So that would make you think that they're putting them back in time for this year's game.
What I would like to see them do, probably better than adding characters, using DLC for match types or announcers.
They should be able to re-add, you know, I think if you can get a functioning casket match in the game, because we just had it at the Greatest Royal Rumble this year, I think the rule should be if it's a match type that has appeared on WWE TV in the last calendar year,
Yeah.
I should have the ability to at least, and I hope the match creator gets expanded too. Because when the match creator first came in the early 2K games, it was always you could have a first blood match inside a steel cage. You could make a Hell in a Cell match that was false count anywhere. We still haven't. I want to see the match creator get expanded. But at least if you're not going to give me the match type, at least give me the ability to create it, like the Ambrose Asylum match.
That would be cool.
Give me the ability to make a steel cage match with weapons all over the place. Give me the ability to walk out of to roll under the ring in the Royal Rumble and get a steel chair like anyone else would be able to. Make it a limited time thing. So, you can only do it like twice per match or whatever, but
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more they could do with it. If you can put a product out that people will actually enjoy replaying. And I don't think you've had that type of game since maybe the SmackDown vs. Raw days.
Yeah, I think that would be the last time we really had stuff like that.
The last WWE game I thoroughly enjoyed was actually 2K14. And 13 was good because that was the Attitude Era.
That was pretty good. That was with Punk and everything and stuff, and it was like Attitude Era versus Reality Era type of thing. Punk versus Austin, which is really good.
So yeah, if you can just create a game, and people have been calling for years now for GMO to get brought back. It's not coming back this year.
It's not. It's been confirmed.
I don't think it's not been confirmed, but I feel like they would have said something about it by
Well,
now.
Tyler Breeze and Xavier Woods have really been hyping it up for like the past couple of months.
And they just added a new tower mode, kind of like in Mortal Kombat,
Oh, okay.
where you can go through towers and see what your score can be, and if you can beat a certain amount of guys. It's going to be that. I think will be pretty fun, and I think that's the whole giveaway with AJ Styles, where if you win the tower on a certain difficulty, you have to go through like 20 guys, but you have to use like all 1 bar of health.
Yeah.
It's something crazy like that. So maybe this will be a turning point. But if this game isn't a resounding success, you could see an indie company start to kind of feel around a little bit for a possible video game deal.
Yeah. I think Cody Rhodes, if they're able to get a 10,000 seat arena, I'm sure they're business savvy enough to get like a video game license.
And Madison Square Garden's about 23,000.
Exactly.
If they sell that out, then you're.
They have to announce more Bullet Club guys.
Yeah.
That's the end result of it all. So.
But yeah, WWE is I think this is the first time you could say Vince McMahon might have some actual competition. Triple H may see it coming, but I think Vince is still of the mindset of, what we do is great. Everyone's going to want to, be part of this company just because they have the most money.
So I got 2 questions for you. Are you all in on the Bullet Club?
I'm starting to respect that they might actually be a legitimate threat, and I think part of it's the stuff they've done, but I think part of it is WWE just refusing to acknowledge.
They've grown complacent.
It's like America in the Civil War. You're not going to acknowledge that the South is going to rise up until they actually rise up. So that's I think, yes, they're doing good things, but I think WWE need to take off the blinders, disable the tunnel vision, look around and just see what's happening around you.
And are you all in on this video game?
I already pre-ordered the Ric Flair Collector's Edition, so if that doesn't...
How much? And then the pop vinyl I get, right?
Yeah, the part of the Collector's Edition that I wanted the least, you can have.
Woo! And that's all in. All we got, folks.
That's all. We're all in. We're all in. Just going to say all in from now on. Remind me not to take you
I
to
think
Vegas.
you're all in denial.
Remind me not to take you to Vegas, and you're gonna get
All in!
But I'm this Super Showdown thing is. I think
God
it's,
awful.
I feel it's more complicated than the GRR.
Oh, yeah, they're coming back to Saudi Arabia in November.
Yeah, they really gotta start limiting the content that they're pumping out, because you're having 2 pay-per-views a month. Well, now 1 pay-per-view a month, but you also have an NXT takeover, more NXT takeovers, all this international stuff. You have 3 weekly shows. By Saturday, I'm just done with it.
I think that's the good thing with All In, though. It's more concentrated. It's, they didn't overextend themselves, and I think that's what WWE did. They overextended themselves.
I still love the network for the content it offers classics-wise.
Oh, I agree.
Still having the entire WWE, WCW, and ECW pay-per-view library. And I'm sure Vince is going to get an Impact library at some point, too, because it's just how he works. But that's the only... I mean, the network's been good, but now they're going to start to face some heat. And if Vince doesn't, if he doesn't fire his entire writing team and, just start from scratch, then I don't know. I think WWE is just going to stay in this mode of stasis for a long time.
Yep. Amen to that. That was about 50 minutes, my guy.
Yeah, and Champ's still here.
Fuck off. All right, guys, thanks for staying tuned. Be sure to check out our episode on our All-In review with me and Jimmy. Thank you, Joe, for not being a Brock Lesnar and deciding to show up more often. Jared, stop being a Brock Lesnar and decide to show up more often.
Well, technically, we are both champion, but the belt doesn't become his property, I think, for another month, so... Once the belt is in his possession, we need to make sure that, the champion shows up.
Well, that belt's not good. You just keep it warm for me, my guy.
Even if you just show up and cut a promo and squash Kurt Hawkins, that's all we need you to do.
Amen. All right, until next time, Audio Marks. Thank you, everyone, for staying tuned to our podcast. Special shout out to the Sachem Public Library for the continued use of their equipment and space. Continue supporting us by rating and subscribing through Patreon, Audio Boom, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play Music, and Apple Podcasts at Marks for Life Podcast. And now, check out our YouTube channel, Marks for Life, for our podcast playlist and other content. Please follow us on our social media on Twitter at Marks for Life Pod, Instagram at Marks for Life Podcast, our Tumblr page, Marks for Life Podcast, and our Facebook page, Marks for Life Podcast. And email us at marksforlifepodcast@gmail.com for any questions, comments, or feedback. Until next time, Audio Marks.